I said I would do this. But now that Dubso is taking a longer break from mapping, I kinda have to start providing updates on the Yanis' map. My name is Sauko and I'm part of the GTA 6 mapping community. I have helped in the making of the GTA 6 community maps and constantly work to improve them with the creators of the maps themselves. I'm sorry for the echo you might hear on the background. My room is still a bit empty, even though I have most of the walls wrapped in bubble wrap. I really need to get some carpets. So, how does Yanis' map differ from Dubso's map? Of course, they are made by a different person. Dubso's is the original, and Yanis' map is based on the Dubso's map. And then Yanis has improved upon Dubso's map to make the map up to date, whilst Dubso's version 5.1 is not up to date. Yanis' map is also vectorized, so it's much more easier to work with and it's technically higher quality. I kinda covered version 7 of Yanis' map on this channel before, in which I thought about the differences between Yanis' and Dubso's map. So this video will be about the update from version 7 to version 8 of the Yanis' map. And I will mention if there are some changes that are worth mentioning from Dubso's map to Yanis' new V8 map. So all of this is kind of confusing for me too, when we are changing the author and the make of the map. So I'm going to use this informative version of the map. There are several other color schemes like this one, which looks much better. However, this map contains more information by displaying what's speculative as red. First change on the list is that Watson Bay and the prison was moved once again. Both of them were moved closer to Hamlet and they should be correct now, but I'm not gonna promise anything this time. And this change is based on RLX's work. He basically triangulates. Well, it's not triangulation anymore, it's pretty hard to explain, so I'll make a video about it sometime. But he has a way to determine where things are on the map, based on the major landmarks we see in the screenshots and trailers. And of course the Watson Bay change is based on the Watson Bay screenshot itself, and the prison location on this screenshot and several others. Then another massive change. Lake Leonida got moved more to the east, closer to Vice City. Previously, the location of Lake Leonida and Ambrosia was based on the Pocamar Bridge in Port Gellhorn. However, the location of the Pocamar Bridge is slightly wrong, so that made the location of Ambrosia to be almost completely wrong. So this new location is based on this screenshot. As we can see, this radio tower, bus of the airport, and a water tower here, which we also see in the leaks. Using these and some other tricks, RLX was able to get a more accurate location for Ambrosia. This is also supported by the fact that we can actually see the sugar refinery smokestacks from Vice City, even though we can see only a small bit of them. So that also places the sugar refinery around here. So this location should be correct now, but again, I cannot guarantee anything. Also, Ambrosia itself was improved to be more accurate. As for example, the baseball field was added here, and the canals among the sugarcane fields were improved and extended all the way to Vice City. That canal is still speculative, but very likely. Also, the Velabator trash burning facility was moved, and it also is one of the main reasons why we had to move Ambrosia to the east, as we can see it in this screenshot here on the edge. So Ambrosia had to be more east. And now it seems that there is very little space in between the lake and the sea, which makes Broward County relatively small. Please voice your opinions about that in the comments. Then, the next change. The mountains around and in between Ambrosia and Port Gellhorn were changed and improved. Also, the large mountain north of Ambrosia was added. This area is still relatively unknown, but this area seems to be a bit hilly, and these are not just small hills anymore when we get to the north side of Lake Leonida, as some of the mountains are from Georgia and North Carolina, as Mount Calaga National Park was recently discovered to be in North Carolina. And no, we still don't know where this postcard takes place and where this mountain on the background is. But yes, cool mountains. Then some Port Gellhorn improvements. The area around Hank's Waffles was improved. This scene was added to the parking lot of Hank's Waffles. This scene was also added to the map, and the roads and the minimal we see in the scene. And the lights was added to the map. this location should be correct, as the realized location is based on the things we see in the background, as they are also in the Port Gellhorn postcard. This chase scene location is still a bit iffy, but it should be here, because of the large pylon and possibly the port cranes here on the background. And the things around Hanks are just more accurate now. Then the area around Starlit Motel got reworked to be more accurate, and then a visually big change, as Leonida lost a large bit of its west coast on this new map version. However, this change is just speculative, and it now mimics the shape of Florida better. So don't be alarmed, the map didn't get smaller. Then some speculative highways were added to the central parts of the map, which are much more likely than the ones on Dupso's map. Some of the roads in grass rivers were changed. This building was changed on Keylento, as it was identified in real life. Also, an island was added south of Keylento. This is now the most southern point of the GTA 6 map, and this location should be accurate, as we can see it in 2 scenes. Vice City has so many changes, so I'll only say the most important ones here. Virginia Key was improved to be more accurate. The Cuesta Key got some more confirmed and unconfirmed roads onto it. The Cuesta Key is basically a one-to-one copy of the real-life Brickell Key. The Vice City port roads were improved, and the tunnel was added onto the Yanis map. The Bayside Park got some new roads, and the statue we see in this scene. Also, downtown got some more buildings, which we also see in this scene. This building was identified and added to the map. And we were finally able to place 2 new scenes onto the map, which are this bra 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 scene and this scene with the bikers in trailer 1. The school board station and this building were added to the map. The metro lines were detached from each other, as different kinds of trains are there, and this is like how it's in real life. And this area looks much fuller now. However, these 2 blocks in game are empty lots, so basically just grass. Then this building was added to La Perle, as it's seen in the TikTok leaks. And I'm just gonna mention that this discovery was made by me. Then this area in Northern Stockyard was changed on the Route 10. This interchange can be seen partly in the leaks from several angles. And this gas station was also added, as it can be seen in the leaks. The causeway should now be accurate, which moves the drawbridge to its correct location. And these 2 were my discoveries. Then let's jump to VCIA, as the hotels north of it are now correctly scaled. The runway got moved slightly south, and we got a new building on the west side of the airport, which is this concrete block. It can be seen in this scene from Vice Beach. The location is still slightly wrong or off. It will probably get better closer to the result game. Same with the retention pond west of the airport. Then the location of Star Island was slightly improved. Lifeguard towers were added to Vice Beach, and a confirmed pond was added to the Leaf Links Golf Club, which is based on the Indian Creek Golf Club. And the still speculative Peanut Island was moved south to be in a more likely position. Then some colors were changed on the map, various labels were added, and as you might have noticed, camera locations were added to the map, county borders were added, and route markers were added. Additionally, several interiors were added to the map. They are only really visible on the vectorized version of the map, though they are really good and are in the correct positions on the map. Try to guess which buildings I'm showing here, and tell me in the comments. If you get them right, I'll give you nothing. And then the map legend was changed to be more clear, and in the bottom left corner, RLX got special credit for triangulating most things on the community map. He has made the tool GTA MapLib open source, so you too can try to triangulate things on the GTA 6 map, but that might end up being difficult. I'll leave several links in the description. I hope I didn't miss any major changes, and that this video was understandable even with the echo. GTA 6 YouTube is currently kinda dead for at least us small creators, So it would be really appreciated if you liked the video, subscribed and commented, so that my channel doesn't completely die before trailer 3 of GTA 6. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.